Hey, what's going on, guys? Leo. Hit the like and subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm if you found the content valuable. So let's go ahead and dive in here. We're going to be covering quite a bit today. We're going to be covering kind of what's going on with the FTX payouts. We're also going to be talking about how the price of Ethereum seems to be getting manipulated pretty heavily here. We're going to go over a little bit of the short position that's kind of going on and how these things kind of tie into each other. So let's go ahead and dive in here. We're going to start with, so we talked about this in the previous video where I talked about the Ethereum short squeeze that's kind of going on. Just a quick recap. So on CME futures, there's 11,341 futures contracts that are net short. Now, what that means is that each contract it represents 50 Ethereum worth of value. So if you just do the math, 11,000 multiply that by 50, it's a 1.5 billion US dollar short position for Ethereum here. Now, this news broke this morning, and it was interesting. So, Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, they might be the largest hedge fund in the world, but Ray Dalio runs this, and it came out that they have an Ethereum directional short worth 3.1 billion. Now, other than the size of the position and whether this is actually real, we don't know. What we do know is that if we come over to the price, this morning everybody was all getting all excited, price is going up, and we can see that here on the chart. Ethereum started to pump all the way up to, looks like it got to 2850, and then it's interesting because as price starts to rally, all of a sudden this FUD drops, right? It's perfect timing. I swear they write the news to match the price action, and to me this is just manipulation. I mean, what are the odds that the price of Ethereum begins to pump, right, while we're seeing all of these massive short positions on Ethereum, and the price starts to pump, and then all of a sudden this news breaks that's bearish, and then the price just reverses. So the reason it's kind of a scare the market type of thing is because this is a very well-respected hedge fund. But I think what's important to keep in mind is we don't know the specifics. We don't know if this is even real. And we don't know their strategy here. So, I mean, it could be just a hedge, right? So they could have another position and another account where they're long Ethereum, and then they have a little bit of a hedge here. So we really don't know the specifics, but the timing of this is extremely suspicious to me. And to kind of put this in perspective for you, we can take a look at the Ethereum flows. So for the ETF flows, the total flows, the net flows, is 3.15 billion of total inflows. So, from Bridgewater, if this is a real position, they have essentially they're short the entire net inflows from the Ethereum ETF, and then we also have the futures contracts that are showing net another 1.5 billion. We don't know whether the Bridgewater position is an options. Well, I guess I don't know if they have options on Ethereum. I don't trade options, but we don't know what instrument they're using to short this position here. So to me, all I can take away from this for sure is that it's price manipulation with the timing that this document came out. So real quick here, just going to go over something with Trump media had authorized the buying of crypto assets. Now, this is different from the World Liberty Financial Company. We know that Trump had bought, I believe it was around $500 million worth of just Ethereum alone under the World Liberty Financial Group. That was then sent off from their public wallet to Coinbase for custody services. And now he's talking about this other company. Trump media is going to start investing in crypto as well. So, again, to me, that's just extremely bullish. Like, if there's one trade that I don't want to go against, it's whenever a politician takes a position. If a politician is long on a stock or a crypto or anything, I don't want to be short that, because they very likely have some sort of inside information, and that's why they're able to perform so incredibly well. I mean, politicians, their trading beats the best hedge funds, the best traders in the entire world by huge margins, and that's because they typically have insider information. So whenever I see things like this, it just makes me feel even more confident that I'm in the correct trade here with Ethereum. It's kind of a joke at this point where you see Nancy Pelosi's trades come out. Oh, she bought NVIDIA, or oh, she bought this. And then everybody they want to get in on those trades because she's one of the best traders in the entire world, making hundreds of millions of dollars. So with $100,000 or $200,000 salary from the government. So let's go ahead and get into the FTX information here. So FTX announces the initial distribution. It's going to be tomorrow. And so from my understanding, the first distribution of funds is going to be if you had $50,000 worth of crypto or less, and that's going to be distributed tomorrow. And the way that the distribution is going to work is if you had a BitGo or a Kraken trading account, from what I gather, it's going to be paid out to those accounts. You have to do KYC and whatnot in order for them to deposit it. But what this means is that as soon as tomorrow, we could see. They said the first distribution is going to be between 6.5 and 7.5 billion in a cash payout to these Kraken and BitGo accounts. Now, if I'm one of the FTX, I guess, victims in this case, and I'm suddenly getting a payout of $50,000, I want to get back in the market. Now, there's probably going to be a large portion of people that are just sick of crypto because of the whole FTX thing and they just want to withdraw, but a large portion of that is just going to want to reinvest their money back into the market. I know there was a lot of frustration with these investors, how they just wanted their crypto back. If they had a Bitcoin in the FTX scandal, they wanted their Bitcoin back. They don't want the US dollars, they want their Bitcoin. So we could see 5, however much billion flowing into the market tomorrow, which what's interesting about that is because that could essentially be enough to jumpstart the short squeeze on Ethereum. Now, I don't think that we need 5 billion, and I don't think that all the 5 billion would flow into Ethereum, but even if we get a billion, if we just come over here and take a look at the Ethereum flows again, so the entire ETF flows, the net flows, has been 3.1 billion. So if we get even a billion of the 7 billions to flow into Ethereum tomorrow, that could potentially be enough to push the price up and away from this blue support line and begin all of these short positions that we're seeing to start, closing their positions and cause this short squeeze we've all been kind of keeping our eyes on here over the last week or so. Something else to consider is that David Sachs, the crypto AI czar that's been appointed, he pointed out that, he was rather hinting that there's going to be some really big announcements coming up related to crypto regulations and clarity. So we have a couple of catalysts here that could trigger the short squeeze to begin on Ethereum and kind of get things moving away from the resistance that we're seeing. So, if we see something where, the deposits come in tomorrow, people begin buying back into the market with these billions of dollars of liquidity that's about to flood into the market, seemingly overnight, and there's going to be more FTX distributions later on. The first phase is only the 6.5 to 7.5 billion, somewhere in there. So this can kind of be the catalyst that we've been waiting for to really get things moving. The other thing that I've been kind of thinking about, because this market doesn't feel like a regular bull market like we've seen. We're 300 days past the Bitcoin halving. It feels like we should be much higher and not kind of trading sideways like we have been. And one thing that we might attribute that to is, for one, the elections. Typically, we see crypto rally after the election because it gives certainty to the market, right? We know what's going to be happening, going forward for the next 4 years, and markets love certainty. But the other thing that we could be seeing is something similar to that I would see with futures. So, whenever you would have a FOMC meeting, like a Fed meeting or some big news announcement, and that's usually like on a Wednesday, right? Middle of the week. What would happen with the markets is the big institutions, they would tend to reduce their trading, right? So they wouldn't want to allocate a lot of money until they had that clarity. And so what we might be seeing with big institutions is they're all sitting on the sidelines just waiting. They know that we have a pro-crypto president, the very first pro-crypto president, but what they might be doing is waiting for the actual regulations and clarity to come through before they start making these big allocations. And we are seeing flows increase, but not to the extent that a lot of us hoped for, especially for Ethereum. But if we start getting stablecoin clarity, there's a stable coin bill last I heard going into into the works, if that goes through and we start seeing more clarity as far as regulations with the crypto reserve, the sovereign wealth reserve, a lot of these things that they've been talking about, up until this point, it's just been executive orders saying, okay, we're going to start looking into the feasibility of this. We're going to start figuring out what needs to be done. And so institutional investors might be just sitting on the sidelines waiting. Okay, as soon as that clarity is done and we know the roadmap going forward, now we can start allocating. It's very similar to what I would see in the futures markets, whereas they would sit on the sidelines and wait for the clarity of, interest rate announcement. Are they going to be raising or lowering interest rates? And then boom, the second the news hits, trading starts happening and prices move off to wherever they're going to go. Because there's no shortage of bullish news. Every other week we're seeing news of, this state, that state. They're introducing these state crypto reserve bills, Bitcoin reserve bills, and other countries are starting to say, hey, we're going to start adopting Bitcoin. So there's no shortage of bullish narrative, but I think what they're really waiting for is the absolute clarity. Like, this is what we're doing. These are the stablecoin regulations, these are the SEC regulations, and everything going into place before they really start heavily allocating capital. So just something to keep your eye on. We're going to be keeping an eye on that, and I'll be updating y'all here on the channel as more stuff comes out. But until next time, y'all take care.